And does that explain that you're obviously less than the start that you would have wanted to your Premier League campaign?
No, I don't. I try not to make excuses. I still believe in the players that we've had fit. I still believe in the young players who are supporting the first team group and learning as they go. I don't think we're ever a million miles away. The margins are tight. We certainly, we were right in the game against Southampton, second half against Newcastle, but just too many basic errors, and that costs you if you don't get them right. Coming out of sort of a strange pre-season as well, with the stretch in the squad through injuries, but I try not to make excuses. These are facts, but the performances have not been too far away. We need to tidy up at both ends of the pitch. We know that. But I do think that them players getting fit again, they had that in-house competition, that in-house edge, if you like, to the group, because they've got to work for their shirts.
West Brom, obviously in a similar position to yourselves. Do you think that they're going to struggle this season?
I don't know. It's very early yet. Everyone wants to ideally get points on the board early, as do we. We're slightly longer in the tooth in the Premier League than Slav's group. I like Slav a lot, by the way, as a fella, not just a manager, but his group are maybe slightly. Some of them have played in the Premier League quite obviously, some not as experienced with the ups and downs of it maybe. We are experienced with that. We know that you can have tough spells in the Premier League, and I think we have the makeup and the mentality of how you come through them spells. It's yet to be seen this season, of course, but it's part of the challenge. The Premier League is a strange beast in the sense that when you get on a roll and you look back and you think, how have we not won a game? No, how have we not got a point? And it suddenly is gone. And then the next, lump of games come, which is coming now, and then equally you can turn that around and it all looks different. So, like I say, we've got a group that have been through it before. That doesn't guarantee anything. It just means they've got that bit of experience. So I'm really focusing on that. I'm not really worried about others. I'm really focusing on our group and how we maintain the focus and increase performances to get points on the board.
You mentioned there about, now the games coming up and, the old saying, isn't it? There's no easy game in the Premier League, but I mean, 5 of your next 7 are, what you call the big hitters: Spurs, Chelsea, City, Everton, Arsenal. Because obviously, being in the Premier League now a while, these clubs don't scare you. They don't throw anything in your way that you don't believe you can cope with. But it is quite a tough run on paper, isn't it?
Well, I've got to be honest, until you've just reminded me, I was quite calm. Now I'm not so calm, so thanks for that. I was having quite a nice morning, and now you've just interrupted that by reminding me of the games that are coming. I try and work on a one-game basis, so that's not so easy now. No, look, you have got to play everyone home and away. I know it's a simple, cliched answer, but it's true. We've been there before. We know all these challenges. We know that one bad run or tough run doesn't make your whole season. It is a season's work for clubs like us. I've always said that. And the likelihood, not possibilities and probabilities, I talk about a lot. Possibly you'll have a clean season where you don't have tough runs. Probably when you're teams like us, you probably are going to have tough runs of games and tough spells of points or not getting points. So it's not to be feared. It's just a reality, or we see it as a reality of being in the division. But like I say, the possibilities are always there. It's an interesting situation, no crowds. We're all wondering how it affects teams. I mean, I think the last, games with particularly the Liverpool game and the Man United game, they're bizarre results. They're not results, I don't think, that are the norm. Is that because of no crowds? Possibly. Is it, last season it was just new, so everyone got on with it, as in the last 9 games. Now, is it something that players are finding different and difficult? I think possibly. So that may be altering some of the performances and some of the detail in the game, because crowds do stimulate an effect on players, quite obviously, and on managers and staff. So I think there is something in that, but we want to be on the right side of them. So if teams have a quiet day because there's not a crowd in, and we can have a very strong day, then you can still take points off anyone in this division.
I know it's gone away now, but it's the first chance we've had to speak to you since Project Big Picture was mooted. What were your thoughts on it?
Well, I think we're all willing to find a way, as people in football, or what way can be found to help throughout football. Decisions have been made from people who are way more in the loop than me, that's for sure. So they've got a much more in-depth view of the minutiae of what they were trying to achieve. The Premier League have obviously decided not. Within that, what I would say, if you're talking about this, or what seems to be the narrative is the top six having most of the power or most of the decision-making power. Well, I suppose if you're talking about looking after everyone in the lower leagues, then in theory, to look after the Premier League, you share that power. So therefore, in possible terms, they should say, okay, we want to look after them, but we're going to share that power across the league simply because everyone's earned the right to be in the Premier League. We're going into 5 out of the last 6 seasons in the Premier League, so we've earned our right. We deserve to be there. We've proved that. It's an ongoing challenge, but we are there. So I think it's fair to say everyone should have a say. Everyone should have their agreed moments of who gets what for what reason. And if that can work in the bigger picture, obviously it hasn't worked in this case, then I'm sure everyone will be willing to play their part. But at the minute, there's people in way, way more depth of knowledge of situations of what can be done, what should be done than me, but that's just an outside view.